All right, let's talk some Saints here. There are 10 wide receivers currently with the Saints. And it's pretty obvious when you start to go through this. It's also mildly concerning, and I'll get to that in a minute. But you look at this. Chris Olave is 6 feet tall, 187 pounds. Rashid Shaheed is 6 feet tall, 180 pounds. Brandon Cooks is 5'10", 190. Mason Tipton made some waves in camp last year. He's 5'11", 187. All of those guys are the same size. And you don't have anybody that's 6'3", not a single wide receiver of the 10. Like Cedric Wilson is 6'2", 197, but I'm not about to go ahead and call him some sort of established possession receiver in the NFL. Kevin Austin is 6'2", 200. Bub Means is 6'2", 215. But those are kind of unproven commodities at the back end. Certainly Means is. They don't have a 6'4" guy to be a possession receiver, to make contested catches, to help a quarterback. And that is the point that we eventually get to. You are now, as an organization, really charged with creating an ecosystem conducive to Tyler Shough's development. Like, that becomes the most important thing you're doing now. This has not been the case for the Saints in a long time. This is the highest you've taken a quarterback in 50 years. So nobody in this front office has been in charge of the development of a young quarterback. Now, Shough is 26, so he's not as young as a 22-year-old starting quarterback. But your organization is now geared toward Tyler Shough, in my opinion. And you need to do everything you can to put a group around him that fosters his development. And to me, putting a bunch of 6 foot, 190-pound wide receivers out there that all look and play kind of the same is not exactly the best idea. What's a best friend for a quarterback? Somebody that doesn't need a ton of space to be open. Somebody that can use his body to make contested catches. You need a 6'4", 6'5" wide receiver that can win at the line of scrimmage and create easy throws and catches. As awesome as it is to watch Rashid Shaheed run, like, some of those throws can be tough to make. You got to take a lot of time. You got to let him get down the field. You got to have a lot of touch. Like, something too, and you use Michael Thomas as an example. He just wins off the line of scrimmage on a slant, snap, throw. Like, that's easy. And the Saints don't have anybody of that ilk at this point on the roster. Rashid Shaheed, Mason Tipton, Chris Olave, Moochie Dixon, Brandon Cooks, Chris Tyree, Dante Pettis, Cedric Wilson, Kevin Austin, Bub Meads. 1, I don't think you're talented enough at wide receiver. 2, they all look the same. So something has to be done to address that. Now, Keenan Allen's name continues to come up. He fits the bill. I don't know how much money he wants to make. I don't know how much the Saints can make available to him. And I don't know what's important to him. Is it important to him that he plays with Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore again? Is it important to him to have $1 more than the second best suitor? Is it important for him to win a Super Bowl? Well, the Saints have Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore. The Saints can probably move around some money on a 1-year deal. The Saints aren't going to the Super Bowl this year. So if that's what is important to Keenan Allen, you're out. But they have got to find a way to address this wide receiver situation. I believe they probably should have done it when they selected the tight end from UCLA in the draft. You look at tight end, like Juwan Johnson he's bigger than these guys, but he's not like some sort of 6'7" freak that can do the things that I'm saying. Juwan Johnson is listed at 6'4", 231. I don't know that Foster Moreau is a perfect safety blanket for a quarterback. And now, like, it's my opinion, almost every decision you make offensively has to be with Tyler Shough in mind. To me, the Saints right now are wedded to him. Kellen Moore is wedded to him. Now, it's possible that you go out there and you go 3-14 this year and you draft a quarterback first or second overall next year, and then you're back in the same spot, like in terms of fostering a young quarterback, but it's not Tyler Shough. But right now, with what we know, Shough has to be the priority. And I think you're doing him a disservice with this wide receiver core right now. It's why I thought the Brandon Cooks signing didn't make a lot of sense. You got Rashid Shaheed, but older and slower. Cooks has had a great career. Great career. Longevity, production. He's bounced around a lot, but a great career. At this point in his career, he's a worse option than Rashid Shaheed to me. So that money didn't make a lot of sense to me. And what you don't need to do is tie up a bunch of money in an aging wide receiver. That's not what I want you to do. We've talked about this same refrain and chorus for months. Younger, cheaper, younger, cheaper, younger, cheaper. Don't go sign somebody old for a lot of money in a couple of years. Don't tie up any money. But there is no such thing, really, for the Saints at this point as a bad one-year deal. Because I don't think the Saints are going to be that great in the fall. And if the money comes off the books after that, okay. But if you can come in and help foster the development of a young quarterback, that money is well spent. You would invest it in 2025 for the return as the quarterback develops beyond that year. So if Keenan Allen's the guy, I'm perfectly good with that. I don't expect him to come in and catch $1,400 yards worth of balls. But I do think that he would come in. He would be a pro. Even though he's probably lost a step or a half a step, he would create that big body presence that Shough could lean on a little bit. But as I look at that depth chart right now, it ain't there. And that is concerning to me. So the Saints need to go out and address that some way, shape, or form. It's that cliche that has started to be tossed around a little bit more often. I heard Joe Sloan from LSU say it earlier this year talking about tight ends, as you want your receiver group to kind of look like a basketball team. You can have a couple of 6-footers out there, but sprinkle in a 6'5" guy that's longer and leaner. Sprinkle in a 6'3", 6'4" guy that's a physical presence. A high leaper, physical guy at the line of scrimmage. And I look across this and I see 6 foot 190, 6 foot 190, 6 foot 190, 5'11", 195. Like, it just looks too similar. They need to create some diversity at the wide receiver spot. Hopefully that opportunity presents itself here over the next couple of weeks. We're coming up on June 1, start of a new year. And you got to find a way to address that need now the draft is passed and free agency will be your only option to this point. So that's a look at the Saints wide receiving core. If you're looking for your Saints content, you can certainly find it at LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson is all over it. And you can find it at Hunt on Saints wherever you find your podcast. Just search Hunt on Saints. You can also do that on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel. We always appreciate that. We've really done a great job of growing that channel over the last year and a half or so, and appreciate you all that have subscribed and will subscribe here in the coming weeks. Hunt on Saints. That's where you can find us all year round with your Saints coverage. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Leave your comments in the section below. And hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.